Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the EIC podcast. We have a special guest today. We're excited to jump in with Tim Wern. He's the EVP of Sales at Sanuwave. So, Tim, welcome to the program. Can you give a little background on yourself and Sanuwave?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. We have a product called the Ultramist. It's ultrasonic wound technology. It treats chronic wounds. We have a wealth of data to support its use, and we're based in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Staying nice and warm nowadays, probably.
Yeah, well, I work remotely. You may see the Park City ski map behind me. I live in Park City, Utah.
Lucky
Although I
you.
was in Minnesota this week, it was shockingly cold compared to Park City.
Yeah. Well, good for you. You're not in the midst of that storm that's coming through, so that's good. We were talking a bit about the stage at which Sanuwave is right now in your marketing and sales efforts. You're essentially at the beginning. A lot of folks that we have on the program are in the midst or in the middle beginning type of stage. You were talking about where you are as far as developing your marketing with the company, and then obviously how that's going to interface with sales and the various things you're doing with sales. Can you give us a little summary of where you are with that right now, and then maybe some of the pain points? Like, where are those pain points?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the product's been around for some time, but we're the first company to have this, the Ultramist, as the only product in our portfolio now. And so we're doing some heavy lifting to get our brand identity and the messaging that we want to get out in the market. So we've been working on this in earnest since kind of mid-year to late year 2025. So even though the product's been out for some time, it's more of a startup feel to do the heavy lifting and the brand identity and getting our name out in the marketplace now. So we're growing at a tremendous rate. We're growing at 30+% year over year. Right now we feel like the market is so large, the opportunity, we're just trying to capture it as fast as we can. So we have this really high growth rate, but we still feel we're penetrating less than 5% of patients who could benefit from our technology. From a branding standpoint, people seem to know Ultramist first because the brand has been out in the marketplace. Sanuwave, we are the third company to own the technology. We've been around since 2020. Our company name isn't as well recognized, so we're leading with Ultramist by Sanuwave, if you will, because that's the brand recognition. And our sales team, although they're busy, we try to help them with cold outreach. So we've been doing a lot of subcontracting of cold outreach to generate leads for our team. And then we're working on different marketing initiatives, from testimonial videos of clinicians and patients, and you'll see that on our LinkedIn page, and we're developing more of those, and also working to up our social media presence with improving our YouTube channels and social media. But I would call it, in the infancy of the early stage.
We find at this stage with companies really important to strategically focus on where you think obviously the most return is going to be. From a gut level, because I know you don't have a lot of data on this yet, but where do you feel like right now, given the stage of the company, is the best bet for where you're going to get your return?
Well, we're making investments in the website. We generate, right now, I would say it's increased since January 1st for a lot of market reasons that are working in our favor. But we're generating 4 to 7 qualified leads per day off the website. So the website is solid right now. We're looking to improve that. So that's an investment that's going to be important for us. I think these testimonial videos, hearing it firsthand from a patient that had a chronic wound that wouldn't heal for 2 years, and then in 2.5 weeks they're healed with Ultramist, is pretty remarkable. We have 18 peer-reviewed studies, 8 randomized controlled studies, 3 meta-analyses with over 54,000 patients, all saying that it works. So our frustration is we have this wonderful thing, but not many people know about it. So getting the word out is important. So we think the social media, improving the website, awareness, which can be a tricky spend, but at some point, getting the awareness out. For us, we've invested a lot in webinars and podcasts with clinical leaders, and then also we've really upped our game in clinical conferences where we either have a paid or unpaid medical professional, usually a doctor, giving presentations, peer-to-peer. And then also that trade booth presence where people can come by and see it firsthand. So that's kind of where we've invested mostly.
You have a lot of irons in the fire and how you're generating leads, and a big part of what we do is generating leads, and a lot of what we've talked about recently is how to nurture them and how to qualify them. You mentioned early on that you worked at some larger organizations and there's been some friction integrating sales and marketing. Now that you have that kind of startup feel, you have a lot of irons in the fire in terms of generating leads, you're getting marketing kicked off, you're going to get more eyeballs. How are you going to quantify what's working, what's not, and how are you going to integrate that marketing into sales to ensure that you guys are closing deals and can really accelerate growth?
We've stuck mostly to things that were more easy to measure ROI on. For example, we sponsored a CME webinar with a key opinion leader speaking about ultrasound technology, which, that's what we do. So you get the list of the attendees, and then you can follow up and see what sales you closed. Or if we attend a trade show and get the attendee list, or the leads we generate there, typically. We'll buy a scanner, we talk to someone, generate the interest, scan it. What's our close rate? We try to measure that effectively as well. And then the SDR team we subcontracted to do cold outreach because, we have a sales force, but to supplement their sales and lower their need to cold prospect because it's time consuming and not as efficient, we subcontract that. And so we track that pretty carefully to see how many we generated. We're really tracking, as we talked about earlier, the quality of the leads, but then ultimately how many do we close. So that's where we've put most of our spend. We have done some banner ads on key wound care websites, but we haven't done a lot of cold outreach beyond that or brand awareness at this point. So far as what's working and not, we're having pretty good success with that so far. And I think I mentioned, the testimonial videos as well. Clinician, patient, they're very powerful. So we haven't even got them fully through our compliance and on our website yet, but you're seeing some on LinkedIn right now.
I had two questions actually. Who is ultimately your audience? What's your audience profile of the type of avatar that you're going after? And then how are you qualifying that? Or are you from a quality perspective? Do you have a metric or a measurement which is indicating its quality?
So we need to find out if they have a billable MPI number. Are they a clinician that can actually bill for the procedure? If they're not a candidate. The next is, do they have enough patients to support the purchase of a piece of capital equipment to get the return on their investment? And then, do they have the right kind of patients? So we have four main silos. We have our largest one is mobile wound care. So these are companies that we sell to that have clinicians going in the field in their vehicles and treating patients in their home typically. They can also go where a skilled nursing facility doesn't have the resources to have their own wound care people, so they subcontract these mobile companies that come in and treat their chronic wounds. So mobile is our biggest silo right now. We have private practice, which could be vascular surgeons, podiatrists, anyone who treats wound care. You could even have dermatologists. We do a lot of radiation oncology burns even, so sometimes oncology. So private practice. Then we have hospital as well. So the hospitals have inpatient, of course, but then you also have your outpatient hospital facilities as well as the kind of the last two major buckets. So they all have their different needs, but essentially, do they have enough patients that qualify? We treat people with chronic wounds that haven't progressed in 30 days or longer. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly maybe, there's more than I ever anticipated when I first got into this business. The epidemic of diabetes being a main driver of it, a lot of diabetic foot ulcers, venous leg ulcers, things like that. And then just in hospitals, it's a chronic issue of bed sores, right? Those chronic injuries.
My wife works in a outpatient care for vascular surgery, so I know a little bit about it. But Dustin, I'll give you the last question.
It seems you've worked in B2B space for a while, businesses that sell to other businesses. Have you ever seen paid ads work? Whether it's within LinkedIn or even outside of LinkedIn. It's a heated debate within the B2B world.
Yeah, it is. I was with another startup not too long ago where we did see some traction with LinkedIn. I'm not going to say a grand slam, but I would say I'm generally a believer in it for the right audience and the right messaging. So we're looking at that now too. We use LinkedIn, but I think it's a relatively cost-effective way to get messaging out.
Music to our ears.
It's definitely effective on LinkedIn. You can target the industry, the titles that you want to target. If you guys are going down that path, definitely look at a tool called Say Primer. Same capabilities, but allows you to extend that message onto social, Google, YouTube. A little bit less expensive than LinkedIn, but works extremely effectively.
Yeah, we'd be happy to run you through a demo of that, Tim, if you want to take a look at that.
Absolutely. I particularly like the ability to just target your specific audiences. That was probably one of the most appealing things.
That's speaking our language again. Tim Wern, EVP of Sales at Sanuwave. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the time, and best of luck.
All right. Thanks, guys.